engineering. Mine is in systems engineering. In order to become a professional engineer, you have to have an undergraduate degree from an ABET accredited engineering university. So I've got a stepdaughter who has a degree in civil engineering, and she can be a professional engineer. And she actually took statics and dynamics and thermo and all of the hell courses that engineers take. Whereas to get a PhD in engineering with a bachelor's and master's in psychology, I had to take a little bit of electrical, some computer science, but I didn't have to take all that. I had to take 1 year of calculus and then an ungodly amount of stats, but not the core engineering courses. So I spent my career with Boeing, and there's a lot of people there who know what real engineering is.
Yeah, my father-in-law was a structural engineer, specifically for developing stuff in titanium.
Yeah. Did he work on jet engines?
Yeah, I actually, sitting in my den, I have a prototype of the control nozzles for the Apollo missions. The little jet engine cone type things that they had. He was one of the people that developed the prototype for it. So I've got it made out. I think it's made out of iron.
Titanium is pretty awesome stuff. I have a dive knife made out of titanium that I love.
Yeah, but that's what he did for a company here in Reno, and it's kind of cool. We got rings that were for I want to say the F-14s. They first of all do them out of aluminum. So we got the aluminum ring sitting out as basically as gardens out in our backyard. They tested the structural integrity and everything else.
That's kind of cool.
Okay, I am going to have to play with this some more, but I put your ideas in here, and it's going to be the division part of it that's going to require some work. Because, of course, when you divide 5 by 5.5, you get these funky numbers.
You're going to have to play with remainders and mods in order to actually come up with the copper and the silver.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how much goes to each person plus how much goes to DAS.
I'm going to guess this has been done. I mean, D&D has been around for as long as I've been alive. I'm going to guess somebody's done this thousands of times, but...
Oh, I'm sure they have.
It's a good idea.
So it might actually be easier for me just to write a Java application to do it.
I'm pretty sure D&D has not been around as long as you've been alive, because it's only 5 years older than I am.
Is it really? So it's wow.
You go to hell. You go to hell and you die only 5 years older than you are.
Or something like that.
I remember when I first started playing it as a teenager, it was in second ed. So yeah, it might not have been around longer than me.
1974.
Wow.
So it's 10 years younger than I am.
But as long as there have been computers and as long as there have been D&D, nerds have been doing elaborate spreadsheets for all things D&D.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of part of the game. Not quite as much as dice, but it's close.
Oh, in 80 or 81, you could buy what was called a Dragon Bone, which was an electronic simulated die. I mean, it looked kind of like a vibrator, but you would press for what die, and then it would give you a random number generated off of that.
I remember playing this game at the age of 14 and seeing some guy in the game room at the shop down in Renton spin a 20-sided die and think, wow, that guy is cool.
When we just played our last campaign, the Rise of the Rune Lords with my other friends, at some point we got on the subject of dice, and I said, pretty soon there will be Bluetooth dice where you can roll it and it will forward what you rolled to your computer. And 2 days after I said that, everyone was like, I can see it, because Bluetooth devices are small enough now that you could do something like that, and it wouldn't have to be like the size of your fist. Because I have Bluetooth earbuds that are the size of a D20. So anyway, 2 days after I said that, I get an ad on Facebook for exactly that item.
Oh, that is funny.
Okay, so
it does exist. Bluetooth dice do exist.
I posted up just kind of an image of what I threw together based on the feedback he just gave me. And like I said, I'll work on it, and I think it'll make our life a whole lot easier.
Not that much.
And quicker, yeah.
Yeah.
And probably more accurate.
It's just arithmetic.
Yeah, I can spin every die except a 4-sided, which is, there really is no quicker, better way to get chicks in a bar than pulling out 20-sideds and 12-sideds and starting to spin them.
Depends on the checks.
Yeah,
and
you'd have to be in a
That
special
does.
bar.
That's it. It depends on the bar. There is an actual bar nearby here that is a game bar, and is called.
All right, before we go, I don't know who all I told. I've told a couple of you, I'm sure. The letter that I sent to Dickhead, whatever his name is, I forget.
Jenny, what's his actual name? What's his actual name?
Cadmere.
It's Cadmere, right?
His name's Cadmere.
Cadmere.
Yeah. So I told him basically,
Friend calling
if you're gonna shake down Arcasio, I want a piece of the action there. I expect 10% as a finder's fee. So hopefully we'll have some money coming in from there, because I figured he's going to do it anyway. So we might as well make some money off of it. So that was done. I have the feeling that some of you would have tried to talk me out of that. That's why I just did it on my own.
Sounds
And
like
if you
a
don't-
thoroughly honorable thing to do.
Just to recap, in case people have forgotten, you sent a message basically to Arcasio asking, could you send the refugees south to Stump? And he was like, yeah, but I need help getting this this Ironwood franchise thing sorted out. Would you, put me in touch with somebody who can help? So, okay.
If any of you don't want any of that money, if I start getting some, that is fine with me too. But I am willing to share it with the group.
What if I just don't want you to get any of it?
Well, you're just gonna have to live with it, there, buddy.
Okay, what I recall is that we had gone back to Elf Home and we're essentially waiting for the end of siesta after bathing.
Well, no. When we finished, you guys had gone to see the halflings, and you had just
the halfling circus, right?
You went to circus. You talked to the Yaha Silver about her little song, and you were trying to get materials to fix their robot.
Oh yeah, that was a cool ballad.
Yeah, and it actually rhymed and stuff.
Hmm.
Let me make sure it's on the wiki.
And the patent for the bad dragon bone was filed in 1981. I know you guys were wondering.
He's long since retired and bought his own Caribbean island. So we took the Stillness clone to a shop in Elfhome. Is that where we left it?
We did not take him with us, but we went to go get the stuff that we would need to fix him.
So we're going to try and fix him.
Yes.
Who among us thinks they can do that?
Lucha saw what needed to be done
Okay.
using
Yes.
Arcanum. I rolled poorly, or I would have been able to do it.
Actually, you rolled pretty well in the initial roll.
Yeah, the initial roll was good, but the attempt to fix him was bad.
Yep, well, you can always try again.
I didn't even think about trying again.
Okay, so I was off trying to find the parts.
Yeah, you determined from visiting the shops and basically consulting the list that you'd come up with that it was going to cost you roughly 12 gold to get the parts that you needed.
Halfling culture.
Okay, so I'll fork out the 12 gold to start. Get the parts that we need.
We each coughed up 2 gold, I think, last week, didn't we? I remember because I was down to single digits, and it was a significant percentage of my disposable income.
Yeah, I believe you had already paid for it. So if you
Yeah, I think we
want
did.
to you want to head back there and try to fix them, you can do
Yes. So that's what I'll do.
Go for it.
that. Actually repairing him is going to be a gadgets check, not an arcanum check.
Go ahead, Lucha. You try your gadgets check. I'll try my gadgets check.
Yeah, I just
See what that does for us. That was not a particularly good gadgets check. Oh, there you go, +2. You have a 16 in gadgets?
Gadgets
My
is
Lord.
intelligent. Gadgets is intelligence based.
That's the story of my life, having a large piece left over that no longer fits.
So now what do you want to do? You've repaired him to the best of your ability.
Well, does it come to life? Do we need to try
Not
and...
instantly. You would probably need to turn it on.
All right.
I'm
Lucha, tell him it looks
assuming
like
that
it's been working out.
I'm kind of graciously assuming as the DM that you're not dumb enough to turn the power on while you still got your tools in there.
Have you met us?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are your characters, not you, and they rolled well, so...
That's true. Our characters canonically have ints above 10.
I had just assumed that it would magically come back to life. I was apparently wrong. Oh, so very, very wrong.
I so want to play, like, the Windows startup sound over the comment.
Uh-oh. Quick, change it back to blue. I'm not sure I like the looks of red. Is that supposed to be blindingly bright? Like lasers?
Okay, if Arnold all of a sudden shows up naked, I'm out of there.
You need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
It's a tongue none of us understand.
None of you understand it. It is completely unfamiliar to you.
Anybody have any kind of ability or spell that would let us understand it? I don't think I do.
No, but can we try to roll history to see if we know of any, like, dead languages?
I would say, I was going to say, can I do a language check to see if I recognize anything that's familiar to it?
Like it might have the same root as something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just roll base linguistics. Keep in mind that base linguistics does not include your skill points spent in it. It just includes your bonuses.
So just my bonuses for language?
Yeah.
No bonuses.
No, you get your bonuses. You don't get your skill points because it's the language you didn't.
Oh, right. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I also get +3 for
Oof.
class. Is that included in it?
Yes.
Can I roll history to see if I know of any, like, dead languages none of us would be familiar with, but that the robot might have been programmed with?
Yeah, none of you are really able to decipher this at all.
Okay.
I am not seeing anything in the temporal spells list.
So, other than
Come
making
close.
this earth-shattering sound, is it doing anything else?
The lights are flashing and the siren is going off and it's screaming.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, okay. Other
Other than that,
that,
no. It's just lying there
So-
on the cart and all this is going on.
Can I see
Okay.
anything new with true seeing?
I say we turn it off.
You're not
Or
seeing
try to.
anything other than, the magic that was already in it.
Okay.
Make me a gadgets check to turn it off without damaging it.
All right. We may want to get this to stillness, or get stillness here to see if we can. If it can help us out at all.
We've got a a capital city full of magic users and scholars right next door. I'll bet one of them would know this language. We could just leave it on and drag it through the town square and see who responds. Not at siesta. That would be rude.
I'm having a vision of you guys taking this thing back to the middle of the mosaic square, waiting until the bell rings to end siesta, and then firing this thing off in one go.
Popcorn! Get your
Yeah.
popcorn!
What a way to wake up.
That would get a response for sure. It might also get it taken away.
I'll be right back.
Now, could we kind of pinpoint where the noise was actually coming from? Did it have an actual mouth that was moving, or? Because we could just try muffling it when we turn it on again.
No, you're not entirely sure where the noise was coming from.
There you go, the Arcanium.
Since the whole cart was vibrating, you kind of suspect that its entire body was emitting the sound.
Okay.
And you're uncertain of your ability to shut down whatever it is without irreparably damaging the robot.
Frisco!
Right, so we would have to, wrap it in several layers of blankets to muffle the sound. But we could do that.
Actually, it's loud enough that you'd probably have to submerge it in a considerable amount of water.
Okay.
Would that distort the sound to the point that the translation glass might not work right?
It's my understanding that the surface of water acts very well to basically dampen sounds from traveling between the two media.
Okay, I'm back.
So things that are underwater are not very easy to hear from above the water. Now, if it is like resting at the bottom of a tank, the tank can act as a conductive medium. So it would have to be like suspended in the water. But
Okay. Anybody know where the Arcanium is?
I'm sure we can find it.
I think that's our next stop.
Alessa knows.
Yeah.
Shouldn't at least one of the elves in the party know where it is?
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say Golwyn or Elendal probably would. I didn't know if Lucha was basically
Is that Frisco?
Yeah, he's barking at the court. He has a funny bark. He goes, "Arr, arr, 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 arr." It's very funny sounding. He can produce an amazing amount of noise for such a little dog, though.
All right, Harold, you want to ask your cousin, uncle, whatever it is, if he minds if we take this along with us?
Oh, good point. It's not actually ours.
And I'm nothing if not respecting
Of other
of what other
people's
people
property.
have. Yes.
Right.
As long as they're watching you, anyway.
Let them watch. I mean, if they're watching this hand, they don't know what this hand is doing.
Okay, so we're taking him to the Arcanium.
I think
As long as Harold's
to go pet Frisco. So hang on.
Yeah, I think we're about to get another one. Oh, I guess I know Elendal's heard, but I guess the rest of you didn't. We lost one of our rescues earlier this week, and unfortunately, it was my daughter, one of my daughter's favorites, and it was her first pet loss.
Oh,
So this whole house was in turmoil for a couple of days.
it's a major bummer.
Yeah. But, you know, she's pretty lucky considering she's had dogs her whole life. But she's now 22, and this is the first one of her pets that's actually passed away. So I think she's able to process it a little better.
Harold agrees that we should not take the robot to town. Well, what
Exactly.
other solution is there?
To what?
To figuring out what this language is that it's spewing when we turn it on.
I can recite it when we get to town.
You've memorized it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't?
He's a barn.
I mean, I may not speak a ton of languages, but I can memorize.
Okay. Well, then I'll follow Harold to the Arcanium.
Yep, we'll all go along.
I am actually going to stay here with the robot.
You and Des?
Yeah, Daz will stay with you if you want.
Yeah, we're going to look it over and see if we can note some of the features and try and determine if it's got the same kind of map and, just basic historic stuff. I want to map this thing.
Like, when you say map, what do you mean?
So basically, like where we see, we found on the other one at the fort where it looked like there was lights or bright points where we had found other soul stones.
That
We're gonna
was
look for that.
the big web that Stillness made. This one is just the robot.
Okay, so we're gonna look for any markings or ruins or anything like that on them.
Well, there is rune writing, but it looks like multiple layers of writing. Very much like in the shrine where you found the dragon egg in the portal.
So are we able to determine which one is newest versus which one's older?
It's really hard to tell. It's not readily apparent what's written on top of what.
Did anybody by any chance bring a digital camera with them so we can take pictures?
Sure, it's right here in my left boot.
Yeah, we kind of need that.
Okay, well, Jenny's doing this. We had finished divvying up all the loot as evenly as we could at the end of the last dungeon, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Correct.
And did we convert the platinum to gold?
Yes. Yeah, we converted everything to gold that we could.
I'm done typing now. My hair is getting long.
Do any of us recognize that word?
Make an int check or a language check if you want.
Hmm.
So is this like a public library that anybody can just walk up and start screwing with things, or are we in somebody's private something or other?
This is kind of like the public university.
Okay.
If someone knowing elves, they tend to make things like this and then just sort of abandon them from disinterest because it's only cool while they're making it. So it's quite common for them to just leave things like this around. If someone higher status than you wanted to use it, then you would have a problem because they would they would take precedence. But as long as there's no one around using it, you could just use it.
You're in luck. There is no one higher status than me.
All right. Do I'm assuming gadgets check. Do I
Yep.
see a way to set it? All right.
Well, but that's ridiculous. If you have to know the language in order for it to translate, but we're here because we want to know what the language is.
No, the result
It'll
language. You're saying
yeah, it'll
what it
come out in
translates
trade.
into.
Okay. So you're setting okay.
Why was the crystal translating to infernal?
Because that's what the last setting was.
Yeah,
Somebody
but
had set
Probably
it to
because somebody
infernal.
wanted to give orders to a demon they summoned.
Yep.
I guess. Guess you could use it to speak to a demon. Because I was thinking, if you're trying to like translate what a demon is saying, you translate
I
from
was-
infernal, not to it.
Yeah. No, I was trying to have a conversation with your mother. Okay, that actually was a cheap shot. But anyway.
Memory module not found.
That's in response to Oompa Loompa Doopity Dee. Okay. Harold, I assume you're going to parrot in the phrases that the robot was doing?
That's what he did.
Yeah, that is what. Basically, they found the robot, but there's probably parts still sitting in the dirt.
Ah, okay. Huh. We probably, if we want to pursue this, we do need to go where your cousin Mark found it and see if we can find the missing parts.
Which is 2 weeks east of here.
Right. Is Stillness a lot closer than that? How far are we away from the garrison?
Teleportation circle?
Yeah, with teleportation,
Uh-huh.
he's really close. Because maybe there's just a security combo that needs to be typed in.
Yeah, or Stillness might know what is missing. Or exactly where to whack it to get it to work.
Well, someone could go ask Mommy if she can teleport us.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, Golwyn, your aunt did not get me in for a shot. I had to go somewhere else. So you did not do your job well getting her
Come over
to
to my house, I'll
help me
shoot you.
out.
I did exactly as much as I intended to do.
You know, and we're talking about stuff going, was it 2 days to the east or whatever?
2
About
weeks.
2 weeks.
One
Yeah.
or two weeks to the east. One of the things that we should be inquiring also is whether there's a fort or something in that area that they can teleport us to.
Well,
We didn't know anything about these teleports until we went to the first fort on the river.
part of my hesitation is it's 2 weeks to the east, and that gets us the opportunity to conduct an archaeological dig, of which the probable success may be nil. We think it's missing something. Whether that something is still buried in the dirt out there or not, we don't know. So that's why I wanted to consult Stillness first.
If only Lassie were here.
It would be a bad idea to consult Stillness anyway. For all we know, that this thing is the mouth that is Stillness's mouth, and they're like yin and yang together, and we could get Stillness to communicate through this thing.
I agree. I do not think it would hurt.
Anybody mind if we teleport with this to the garrison and find Stillness and solicit his opinion?
What about having Stillness come to us?
Yeah, I'd like to see if Stillness will come here, because again, we'd have to drag the robot from the circus to here, and
Good point.
Well, I got to think we got to teleport there
there's
to
a
ask him if he'll come with us.
circle here that goes directly to the guild fortress. This is not a guild outpost. This is Elven City.
Well, how did she get to the guild outpost for our last conclave?
Someone teleported her.
Didn't they draw a huge teleport circle?
Yeah, they
Um,
did a temporary one to bring you guys here.
So can we do the same thing to bring Stillness here?
Probably would have to pay for it.
And somebody has to go and ask Stillness if he'll come. Otherwise, it's kidnapping.
And you say that like it's a bad thing.
I don't see the profit. So, yes, it's a bad thing.
listens. Can you try to I guess it'd be kind of interesting if you scried stillness. Could you talk with him telepathically?
That's a good question. Let me look at the actual. I'm looking up the Numaya's chalice. Because it's not straight scry that gives me that ability. It's the chalice.
Exactly.
Speak mentally with the target of the scry spell if the spell is successful. So he would get a save. Yeah, I'll try it. It cost me exactly nothing, I think. Yeah, I'm going to try and scry stillness and communicate with him.
Are you going to do that here, or are you going to like go back to your quarters, or?
No, what I'm going to do is do it in the presence of the robot so that if possible I can. So what Numaya's chalice says is the user may also speak mentally with the target of the scrying spell if the spell is successful. Could I show him the robot from
No,
or
it's just speech. It's not images.
just speech? Okay. So he may not even know it's me. Well, I'll try it anyway just to see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, what's the DC of the spell?
DC of the spell, I'm not terribly sure. My DC is
Should
my
be
So-
10 plus
not
half your
120.
level plus your wisdom modifier.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm a little
Plus
confused
so
on
20.
I think.
20.
I'm a little confused on this scry because your scry seems to be totally different than mine.
It is because of Numaya's chalice. The
He
Numaya's
has a
chalice is the
magic
thing
item.
that gives you the telepathy ability or speak mentally.
Yeah, because scry allows you to see an area around whoever you're scrying.
Right. It's
Telepathy
the chalice.
is actually talking to them, so you get a combination of the two.
Yeah, the chalice specifically says you can
Okay.
speak mentally. So 20, but it says it gives me the scrying focus feat, which I think is a bonus on top of that.
It's plus 4.
Okay, so 24 then.
Still just barely made the save.
Huh. Well,
You could try scrying one of the other people you know there.
if I have Harold sing, doesn't that give me a bonus?
No, that's only to like skill checks and stuff.
Okay.
So you're trying to talk directly to stillness through telepathy?
I'm trying to scry him so that then I can talk to him. Is scry a feat that someone can aid me with? Like give me a +2 somehow?
No,
Well, I
it's
have both.
spellcast.
I have both scry and telepathy. I mean, for me, they're two separate things. But realistically, I don't care what stillness has around him. I just want to talk to him mentally. That's all you're asking, right?
Well, why don't you try then? Yeah.
Because he's back at the circus,
Okay.
so he doesn't
Traveling
know
back
what
to
we're
the
trying to
circus.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. I thought you guys came back to the robot, which is the only reason I spoke
Well, I
up.
thought we did too. Yeah. Can we say we came back to the robot?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I have failed to scry stillness. Lucho, why don't you try? My ability to speak with him mentally is dependent on my scrying him. It sounds like you could try both independently.
Yes, but I can't. My scry means I can just see what's around him. So it's like picture a big eye right over top of him looking around.
Right.
Whereas the telepathy allows me to talk directly to him, but I can't see anything.
What we really want is the telepathy. We want to
Yeah.
let him know that we found this robot and what the robot said and how it translated and ask for his opinion.
Yeah, but
So-
the thing is that the message spell, the person has to actually be present when you cast it. You can't cast it through a scrying spell.
His telepathy?
Yeah, you can't cast it through a scry. You need a magic item for that, which is what I gave you.
So, Lucha here.
Okay. Well, no,
Use
now I'm a
my-
little confused on the telepathy spell because it says contact a creature you know and exchange mental messages with it if that creature permits it. So you're saying I have to be within a certain distance of this person, etc.?
Oh no, okay, yeah, that one. I was thinking message. This one doesn't have a range.
Right, yeah, because you and I had already talked about message and it did have a range and everything. Okay, so it looks like my DC is 21.
There's no saving throw on that spell.
You're also welcome to borrow the Numaya's chalice and see if you can do any better with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be able to or not.
Actually, you can't. It says you must worship Numaya the Waters. Oh no, that's to craft
But
it.
you can
To use it, you can just use it.
You can use the telepathy spell to try to contact stillness if you want to.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do.
What do you want to say?
Stillness, we are in need of your help.
You might want to say stillness. This is Lucha.
Yeah, that'd be a good point. Stillness, old buddy, old pal, it's your friend Lucha.
Yeah, I'll bet stillness is just fundamentally cursed to not be able to communicate. We're going to have to physically go there and try and corral him back here in order to get his...
Stillness, I do believe we found... Stillness is the other robot, right?
Yeah.
Stillness, I believe we have found another of your kind. We are in need of your aid. Are you willing to help us?
Try Thom.
Why don't you tell him I'm going to scry you so we can see you? Will you please accept?
What good does seeing him do?
Stillness communicates visually. He doesn't speak.
Okay. He did some sort of modified silent speech with you, is that correct?
Well, yeah, he could nod to say yes or shake his head to say no. You're not going to hear that telepathically.
So yeah, and I don't have to let him know that I'm scrying him.
We're going to contact Thom, and he's going to ask us why Stillness has been shrugging nonstop for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? That's a good point. Why don't you use the chalice to contact Thom? I'll scry Stillness and basically say Stillness. If you're there, nod your head.
I love that they've telepathically contacted someone who I made very clear earlier is unable to speak or communicate mentally. Bunch of goofs they are.
Did you try to scry him?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got scry and telepathy up at the same time, right?
Yes.
And you're
Yeah,
able to
I'm
see him?
going under the assumption that I can do that.
I would think so. Can Lucha have scry and telepathy up at the same time?
Assuming they fail to save against the scrying, yes.
Okay. Sorry, typing.
So Jenny, while I'm scrying him and say, we're and using telepathy, saying we are in need of your aid.
What's
If you are
your
there,
DC?
I'm sorry. What?
I think he said it's 21.
Oh yeah, 21.
The hell? I just closed the whole game. You guys still there?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Getting back in.
Well, Listens is out of the game. We tie a pink ribbon to his tail. So last thing I thought, he changed into a leopard or a tiger or a lion or something like that.
Panther, yep.
I will now go back to the group.
Okay, I'm back in. Okay, repeat the phrase that the robot was. See if that means anything to Stillness. Well, so I could say it, but couldn't Lucha just directly say the phrase "to stillness"?
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, he's got telepathy with stillness. We don't have to go through me anymore now that he's got now that he's able to scry and telepathy stillness.
Ask him if he'd be willing to come and look at this thing.
Yeah. Shoot.
We can arrange it because there's a teleport here.
Is that to me or Lucha?
That's you, because you're talking to Thom.
Okay, my authorities actually had some points into it because it's used for wild empathy. So +8 for authority. Authority. We think Stillness has a mind and will of his own, correct?
Yeah, so he's the one really to ask.
To all appearances, yeah.
Yeah.
But when I asked him, he pointed
But
to
it
Tom.
treats Thom
yeah.
as his commanding officer, so.
Right. In case it's not obvious, I'm going to narrate all of this out loud to the party who's standing around just so everybody knows what's going on. Golan, if you or Elendal could go corral Dinalessa, we need Stillness ported here from the garrison. And you might want to explain what's going on.
Why don't I go to the portal here, port down there, get him, and bring him back?
Is that something you can do?
Yeah, how are you teleporting?
Well, yeah, only if Stillness has been to Elfhome before.
Oh, I thought since we teleported with them to Allpill that one time, apparently that was not through a teleportation device
Even
like
if it's
this.
through a teleportation device, you'd still have to be able to use that device and know how to use it and everything else.
Oh, you're right. So only if I could only use it if I was a member of the guild, is what you're saying.
And you were trained by the guild on how to use it. At least that's
Well, it's
the way that I
it's
perceive
not
it.
a matter of training. The guild circles, the built circles that anyone can use, are designed so that you can only go somewhere if you've been there before, because they don't just want anyone stepping in the circle and appearing in the middle of their strongholds.
Okay.
So you have to have actually been to that location before.
But-
Otherwise, you either have to get an actual wizard to teleport you.
But so Elendal has been to the garrison before, which is where Stillness is.
So
he
I can definitely go there. Yes.
And
Yeah,
then once you're
Elendal
there,
can go there and come back. The problem is that Stillness would still have to go through the teleporter there to come here, and Stillness has not been here yet.
Okay. I thought that I could bring him with me.
No,
Yeah.
So
you can't
I was
use the
incorrect.
teleportation network to bring people. They have to themselves know how to get there.
Okay. Well, how do we get him here then? It has to be
Same way we got here, apparently.
the same way we got here. Yeah, so you got to go contact your ex-wife.
Well, Goldwyn can talk to his mother.
Yeah, I think I would be
That would be
persuasive.
yes.
One of our party's favorite stratagems. Go talk to your mother.
Apparently. Is siesta over yet?
I would say yes. By now the bell has rung and the elves are waking up and doing their stuff. which, as far as you can tell, mostly seems to consist of partying. There's a lot of playing of musical instruments and dancing, and some vendors in the square have rolled out displays of various wares of intoxication and revelry.
Hey, Jenny. So I'm going to end my conversation with Thom by saying we'll have someone establish a teleportation circle shortly. Is that actually accurate? Is that what they do?
They won't need a
Establish
circle to just teleport one person. They'll just teleport down there and send stillness in one spell.
Okay.
You only really need a circle if you're sending a whole bunch of people and stuff, as in the case of you guys.
And I forget, why are we trying to resurrect this automaton?
Try to figure out if it could tell us anything.
So the grand scheme of things, what seems to be central to the new caches of Soulstones and the dragons, if not certainly related, is the web that Stillness built. Remember that with the burnt out
Right.
gemstones? And so figuring out where Stillness came from and where that web came from would really help us figure out the mystery of what's going on with the dragons and the Soulstones. And I think that this other construct may be an albeit broken jigsaw puzzle in that mystery. So if we can figure out this thing and where it came from and communicate with it, that could get us a long ways towards solving the rest.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if it was just a random unrelated construct, I'd say let it be. But if it can inform anything about the web and Stillness's origins, then it could also inform what's going on with these dragons we're killing and these new caches of Soulstones. Which is also the reason why I might be willing to go trucking 2 weeks east if we could find more bits of that puzzle. Golwyn, before you say anything, I'll just mention it's not polite to tell people that they have an extra H in their name.
Well, if that's how his name is spelled, it's not an extra H. I don't. Here, I'll.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Elendal's ex-wife pronounces his name with an extra asshole in it, but you know.
Actually, an extra that asshole.
I would argue with you if you were wrong.
Is your relationship with your ex-wife really that poor?
They don't
Well,
really have
my-
a relationship. He's just aware that mom doesn't like him.
And my
is-
relationship with my ex-wife is actually worse. Like, you know, I left the
can,
country away from her.
Jenny's mom and I still send each other birthday cards. Just did.
Okay, my my Roll20 is being a little spastic. Okay, there. Finally, Golin's the reply appeared. It was like appearing and disappearing, and it was like, what the heck?
I was speaking very quietly, so it was hard to hear me.
I got to run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Is Golan familiar with the Great Hunt? Is that something that I should roll for?
Yes, Golan is familiar with the Great Hunt. It is an occasion of great ceremonial magnificence, as most of the elven royal family and quite a few of the highest-ranking nobles ride into the fairyland and hunt the magical beasts there in order to secure the favor of the fae. It's a once yearly event. It is tied in with the elven beliefs about their origins and how they came to the known lands.
I'm back.
Is there like a correct term for robots? Is it just robot, or are they like...
You'd probably call
Construct.
it a machine construct.
Construct.
Okay.
I've been calling
Robot.
it a robot to distinguish it from a golem, which it is not a golem, but it is a construct.
Isn't the term robot from some Eastern European inventor or movie?
Robot, I believe, means slave.
Yeah, it's either that or it's derived from it.
The word robot was first used to denote fictional humanoids in 1920 Czech language by some Russian.
Nailed it again. Yeah,
Czech.
I thought it was something like
Czech
that.
language play RUR Rozumové universální roboty.
That's the one. What she said.
So the known lands is probably not going to have the word robot.
When you consider that the word robot is only 100 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Nobody remembers the play, the playwright, any of that, but the word is pop culture in several nations.
I didn't realize lessons came. Did we all? Are we all attending?
That's a good question. I assumed I was there, but I may not be.
I
No,
did
go
not.
ahead. So yeah, I'm probably waiting back with the robot or with the construct.
All right.
We're going to end up paying a lot of gold for one shrug. Is how
Yeah,
this
and that's
turn out.
that's kind of my concern from earlier is we're asking to do all this teleporting and everything, and we don't have unlimited funds.
Well, we're not in a real rush to get this stuff done. We can wait until we settle all the recent Soulstones here.
If we could get cash for the latest batch of Soulstones, we won't have to worry about cash for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get some cash.
I think.
I want 1,000
If that's
platinum
what we
per.
want.
We should get as much out of these Soulstones before the world realizes that the market is flooded.
Actually, wait. Would I know that?
Would you know the price?
Yeah.
No, these things are always negotiated individually. It depends a lot on your status versus theirs.
And I currently don't have status of any description.
We could save a lot of money if you just go up the right girl.
Yeah, but that's just it. If she can get us with somebody who wants to marry their daughter off, they want to impress you.
I can teleport you for free. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, we
Say
could
no
we could
more.
get the teleportation as a dowry. I'm not sure that's what I want my dowry to be. Which way does the dowry go?
Well, it really doesn't matter what you want.
That's right. It's what I want.
I think we
Yeah,
established
no, it's
that
not.
several sessions ago.
Dowry, yeah, the dowry is given to the groom's family.
And I am the head of your family.
No.
That's right. It's not given to the groom. It's given to the groom's family.
That's me, baby.
In this context, I think it would be mom. She's the she's the only one of the three of us with any status in Elf Home.
I can produce children. I got status.
Yeah, but you're an outsider. You're on your, that thing the Amish do.
You're on a
Think I'm
Rumspringa.
What?
I'm
on
shunned on a Rumspringa.
A Rumspringa.
Yeah, you're a Rumspringer. You're out, adventuring around the world, so you no longer have a position in the Elvish caste system.
I love that Golan says the thing the Amish do, and nobody thinks drive buggies, raise barns, farm, grow beards.
No, it's
No,
where they all,
that thing they have, like I assume it's like a coming of age thing where you go and you live
Yeah,
in the world of the
Rumspringa.
English for a while.
Yeah.
Except in this case, it's indefinite, and you can still talk to them, but they're not part of society.
See, this is where it's good that I didn't go, because I'd say, do you find this interesting? And I think I can say that, and we all know what I'm doing.
Oh, she's not fishing for a soulstone, is she? That's a bit much for one teleport.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really excessive.
We have liquidated everything else, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Not everything.
We still have the canoe. We still have the
Chicken hut.
the chicken hut.
I thought you were leaving the chicken hut with the halflings.
Yeah, but we still
did
got
that,
it.
yeah.
We're,
But that doesn't mean we're giving it to them.
I don't know if I'm willing to trade in these magic items.
yeah.
Just say the words every mother longs to hear. Mom, I'm willing to put out whatever I need to put out.
You mean, Mom, for the next 30 seconds, I'm hers?
You still got that bag of weed that you got from the gnome.
Oh, you betcha. Yeah. We have one bag of
Got a
spirit
bag of
weed
Spirit weed.
that we're just dragging around, not knowing anything to do with it.
Has everyone got their cash and so forth recorded on their character sheet so I can just wipe the stuff that you sold off of the party loot?
Yeah.
Yes, I have mine done. Well, let's remember, guys, we are interesting. Who else in the
And-
world has found so many soul stones?
That
And
bag
killed
of
big
spirit
dragons?
weed would be perfect, though, because I have no idea what else we're going to do with it.
And Jenny, if you're updating the party loot, I don't know if it really makes this much of a difference. But after everything was said and done, there is still 6 copper, 1 silver, and 3 gold that could not be divided. Those piddly amounts don't really make any difference to me, but
I'll hold the gold.
So do you want to offer her the bag of weed?
Yeah. Golan's doing the talking, but if I can get a message to him, am I there or am I back
You
with the
can be
construct?
there. You guys went
Okay.
back to town, so he doesn't have to have gone all by himself to find Daedalus. So there's not
Okay.
a lot for you to do here at the moment.
Say not particularly exotic.
No, but it's the kind of thing elves are into.
No, I mean the stuff in my bag.
So I'll let her look in the bag. She probably has a better idea of what this is than I do. You know, I've honest to God forgotten how we actually picked up the spirit weed.
The
We got
smelly
it
dude
from a
on the boat.
gnome on the boat with the dream apparitions.
Dream apparitions.
The monsters we had to kill.
In the gnome village?
No,
The
on
boat we took
the boat.
upriver.
Wow. Did I miss a session? What
No.
gnomes?
no, that's the gnomes were not on the boat. The weed we got when we killed the
But there was a gnome on the boat. He was the.
well, there was a gnome, but not the gnomes. And I think that's where it's a lot of the confusion is coming in.
And he thought he was magic. He would like chant a lot, and it would do nothing because he wasn't magic.
Wow, I'm not remembering that at all.
Do you remember on the boat where the sailors were going into the weird sleep and we had to figure out how to decurse them?
Yeah, on the big boat, on the river boat.
Right.
Yeah.
On
that's the
that
one.
boat, there was the smelly guy that gave you the weed.
Okay. I do remember that. So I don't know Lost Lake from a hole in the ground, but I do now remember where we got this weed.
This is kind of a random question, but do you think that like all the schools of magic are like all hard sciences, or do you think it depends on the type of magic? Like for
It
wizards.
depends
You're
more
implying
on the
that there's-
practitioner. Elves tend to take a scientific approach to magic. Gnomes are generally superstitious.
Like whether or not they're wizards. Because I don't mean like different classes. I mean like
You're implying that there's a school of magic analogous to art history that's completely useless.
well, I'm saying is like enchantment magic analogous to like persuasive speaking, like sociology type of stuff because it's affecting people's minds, or is it all like coding but with the universe?
It depends a lot on
When
the
you're a wizard.
practitioner and the particular tradition that they study. Arcane magic practitioners tend to view it more as a science. Divine magic practitioners view it all as a matter of faith. Temporal practitioners are all over the place.
So it's like music. Some is jazz, some
Right.
is classical.
Some is a really high guy whapping at a drum periodically.
Let's keep Elendal out of this.
Hey, he hasn't made magic that way yet. He does
Oh,
keep
you don't
trying.
know how I've made magic,
Well,
Davey.
he made you, and how do you think that happened?
Not by banging
Well-
on a drum periodically.
You don't know what your mom's into, man. We'll talk
I
about it
don't-
later.
Can we not? I think I'm gonna be busy next Tuesday. I'm not gonna be able to come over for dinner.
I'll break out the Polaroids and we'll talk.
Jesus Christ, Polaroids.
Hey, it was a while ago. You're 22 now, you know.
And yeah. Okay,
So Dennis is going to go find us a teleporter
For some weed.
for some weed.
Later, she says, so what I would like to do, my own self, is wait around, offload the soul stones, get what we can get, and then go from there. That is what I would like to do.
Yeah, that remains the prime objective.
okay, I'll be right back. I need bio break.
Now, what we can also do, without, giving anything else up, is possibly make a deal with one of the factions for, future earnings if we want to do something like that. Hey, teleport out, do this for us now. We've got a track record. We'll do for you later.
Why would we do that? That just commits us to something we may not be able to deliver.
Well, we make it so that it's profitable to us. And if we don't deliver, if nothing ever happens, nothing ever happens.
I would wait till we have a bird in hand to cut deals. And I think things are going to develop in the course of disposing of these soul stones, because the soulstone attentive world is going to realize that this is the second large cache we've found, and we're going to get a lot of interest. I really think it'll be like when gold was found in the Yukon.
Which is why I think they're going to want to deal with this. We'd say, look, next time, if we get 15, you're going to get 6 of them. Somebody else is getting 4 instead of 5. Or however we would want to do that.
Well, except that most of us are already committed to the Elven faction. We're Elf Guard, I think?
Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you can't make a separate deal. So I don't believe any of us have made where we've sworn you're going to get soul stones that we find, because nobody asked, nobody thinks to do that.
Okay, I'm somewhat back. I'm just grabbing some more water. What's going on?
What is the guard ball?
I would like to wait this, sit around, party, have fun, wait for a little Soulstone conclave, get what we can get, and then head out.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you on that one.
Oh, and don't let's forget that when you asked about potentially curing the worm-touched halflings, you got that story from Mark about going into the Fairyland.
The story from Mark about what?
About the halflings.
There's a witch in a tree that we'll see during the Great Hunt that might know of a cure for the worm touch.
Right. So we're half committed to going in the Great Hunt to find the witch, to cure the halflings. What is the next step in the factions gathering to distribute soulstones? Is Dinalissa setting that up, or is remind me what Dickhead's name is? Cadmer.
I say we just go with Dickhead, since we can all remember that.
So what are we doing?
We're waiting for Dinalessa to finish with the Huntmaster so that she can arrange the teleportation of stillness. And it's not clear to me regarding the Soulstones, it's not clear to me what the next step is in getting those liquidated. We've brought them to Elfhome.
You're basically waiting on the various organizations to exchange messages
And arrive.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're basically chilling.
Well,
Waiting
keep
for
in
the
mind
factions
that
to arrange
you guys
something.
joined the Elven Guard. You should probably go report in.
Should we all, as a troop, go in and report to the Elven Guard?
Yeah.
Being like like a divine caster of some sort is kind of frowned upon in Elvish society, right?
Not really. It's just not a. It's not their culture really. Certain elves will become like an important priest, but there aren't like enough worshippers to really form a church. It's more like an individual calling type of thing.
You
But
read the elf culture piece on the wiki. It's not really frowned upon. It's just not something they do.
Well, I feel like it's so that they thought it was like weird.
It's definitely odd for an elf to be involved in.
what it is it's not really considered like a job, and it's not like an official job within Elven society unless you're like the highest priest and you're an official royal family advisor or something like that. So it doesn't free you from your other obligations and stuff that you're required to do depending on your status and that sort of thing.
Okay.
If everybody else wants to go report into the Elven Guard at the moment while we're waiting for everything else to happen, I'm happy to do that.
Yep, I'm good with that.
So if I weren't like an outsider right now, I wouldn't be seen as like weird. I'd be seen as like someone who's just not doing their job. Or, well, unless I guess I was doing my job completely separately from being a paladin.
Yeah, pretty much. You'd
You're
be
on
seeing
elf.
someone who has a weird hobby, basically.
Okay.
You know, like someone who collected 9th century scrolls on farming practices or something.
Okay.
It's not disrespected exactly. People won't make fun of you for it, but it's kind of seen as a little on the just the odd side.
Okay.
Like you're just like really into butterflies or something. Okay.
So are we gonna go
Yep,
report
let's
into the
put
guild
in.
hall? The guard hall?
Yep.
Alright.
We report to the guard hall.
I'm assuming I would not be welcome. Not like, they wouldn't, not like they would, be mad at
Because
me,
of your
not welcome.
personality?
But I'm not a member of the guild, of the Elven Guard.
They won't care if you come along.
All right, then I will trot along with them as well. I still want to send my message so I can start working on that. I think we ought to work on that through this end too. That's kind of up to you guys.
For a second there, I read that as elf. Hide your cats, everyone.
Alf, you mean Gordon Shumway?
You got it.
You guys are old.
Yes, we are.
I can only confirm that I am not old and that I have no idea who that is.
Yep, exactly.
I fail in some areas. Yes, it's true.
I'm human, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm
You're-
an owl at the moment. Yeah.
Your listens.
That's true. 3 elves, 1 halfling, 2 humans.
That's kind of racist when there's only 2 humans to go. Oh, you must be the humans.
Actually, for an elf, he's kind of being polite because he's sort of glossing over that 3 of you are technically outsiders. And he's kind of just pretending that you're all humans and treating you all as humans for the sake of argument at the moment.
Do we already have quarters?
Yes, Dinalessa set you up with a treehouse.
Okay.
I always wanted a treehouse.
With the slide and rope ladder.
Yep. Golwyn would not build one for me. Terrible child.
He would always say, Golan, build me a treehouse. And I would say, I'm for.
He always had excuses like that. Always with the excuses.
That was a good one.
So is he going, yes, Lieutenant?
Yeah.
Like, that's what you should say? So we
Yeah.
got dicks all over the place.
No, that's
Well, that's
typical military.
yeah.
Someone walked up to me when I was serving and said "Yepers." I would absolutely correct him.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who's not military?
Slacker.
There are reasons why I was not military as well.
Grateful we're not all doing push-ups right now.
From what little I do know about the military, you're supposed to bookend remarks to your superior officers with the term "sir."
That's at boot camp, but generally, yeah, if you're addressing a superior commissioned officer, you end with "sir."
So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish sentences to him with Lieutenant.
I did that once, and she had me doing push-ups until the morning. Oh, no.
It's either "sir" or "ma'am."
Yeah, and if you make that mistake, holy shit.
It blew my mind. I had just come from serving 2 years in the cavalry, which is an all-male combat unit, and we transferred up to northern Germany, where I served in a hospital. And the doctors, lieutenant colonels, all wanted me to call them by their first names, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, because the only
Nothing else
reason
seems
that
like a
the only reason that doctors would have been commissioned that high is because they need people to listen to them when they say to do something.
Well, they all come
They're
in
not
as
really
captains.
but they're not really officers.
No, they'll walk around with shoelaces untied and buttons undone, and
Yeah.
but they're all every doctor in the army comes in as a captain.
Yeah, I think that's like they come in as a captain and very shortly thereafter they are majors or colonels.
Yeah, depending on, we had a psychiatrist that never had a duty station before he was a major.
Yep. Yeah, I was rooming at one house where both the husband and wife served, and here I am, a lowly private, and I'm basically renting out their bedroom, and both of them served. He was a lieutenant colonel. No, he was the full bird. Well, what you guys call a full bird colonel.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a major, and they traveled the world. And what they wanted was a soldier to basically stay at their place and look after it until they came home.
Yes, irregulars. Jenny, do you remember the name of my commanding officer at in Fulda? Because this is a good story.
Captain Healing, wasn't it?
No, you're remembering somebody else. My squadron commander was Lieutenant Colonel Lust, Larry J. Lust,
Yeah, I remember.
LUST, and he was former enlisted. So at one point in his career, he'd been Private Lust, and he'd been Major Lust right before I knew him.
So I said I always wanted to go to officer school and become Captain Morgan.
Can we just say that if I type LT that I'm saying lieutenant?
Yeah, that works.
So it's a long word.
Hey, what? We're working for these guys? Huh?
Yeah.
As irregulars, yeah.
Yeah.
Using perception, can I tell from looking at the lieutenant what is there something on him that denotes lieutenant? Bars, stars.
Is he actually wearing his rank?
Yes.
Yes, there's a subtle variation in the pattern of his uniform. The lower your rank, the lower ranks were basically two colors in a very simple pattern, and the more complex the pattern, the higher rank they are. It's quite prominent. You really can't miss it.
Stars and bars, stars and bars.
Do we know what irregulars means in this context? I assume the Golan and Elendil and Lucha would.
It means basically that you're on call. You're expected to maintain yourselves in a state of readiness to assist with emergencies, and you may be given independent tasks. but
We
you're
don't
not
have to spend
expected.
march up and down the square.
You're 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 not expected to basically like stand guard duty or do immediate stuff. They basically will call you in for emergencies. It's kind of like National Guard. Although they're probably going to give you some assignments right up front just to kind of get you familiar with the way things work around here. Also, being irregulars means that you guys are not considered to be under orders except during specific emergencies. So if someone shows up and orders you to do scut work, they're just being an ass to you. You don't have to do it.
Okay.
And one of you guys might want to ask how long this is going to take.
Well, I assume he'll tell us where to deliver the thing. And then we'll know how long it takes to get there and back.
Yeah, but he says to the outlying settlements, it's going to be more than one drop-off. Looks like it's going to be 5 drop-offs.
You know, there are 5 of us.
There are.
There are 4 of you.
How many of us can fly?
I'm not actually a guard.
I cannot fly well.
Yes. I cannot fly very far.
I can fly for 10 minutes a day.
Depends on the strength of who's flung you.
Yes.
My horse can gallop on air. Kind of like flying.
That's right.
Delivery quest. And I think he wants you all to go each place because it will make it much easier to call you to a location if there's an emergency. If each of you knows where those locations are. Blech. I suppose we should requisition some horses as well.
You should requisition some horses.
Oh, I'll liberate some horses if that's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying I have a horse.
Oh.
He's got a horse that walks on water.
Come to think of it, Listens can shapeshift, and I think Harold can also summon a horse.
Harold can summon a horse?
I think he has at least one level in Paladin, right?
I've never seen him do it before.
Why would I need a horse?
Yeah. It's not that high level of a horse, because he doesn't have that many levels in Paladin.
Because they're good eating.
You don't want to eat your Divine Bond horse. No. So that's a bad plan.
Again, why would I want a horse?
Quickly get from point A to point B, unless is there some other...
Move
Oh,
faster,
you know what
it's
would
more
be-
maneuverable than you.
If there's rivers connecting all these places, we can just go in our canoe.
But, I mean, come on, it's a horse. I mean, if I summoned a horse, I'd pretty much be looking at its nads. I mean, how in the hell do I even get on top of it?
Yeah, you want a pony. My little
Very
pony.
large dog.
So when you finally do decide to turn to summon a horse, the rest of us should give you some private time.
So, Jenny, looking at this map that's been, I get from the looks of it, has been summoned, drawn. It's drawn from the air. So I'm assuming he pulled something out of the air to give us a map?
Yeah, it was drawn by someone who was flying or otherwise looking
Right.
down.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I was right there with you, Lucha. I understand now. It means from overhead.
So roughly how far away are these places from Elfholm?
Not far. All of them are inside the Elfwood.
So within like 30, 40 miles?
Now, if you guys want to go and, do your little Grubhub deliveries while I stay and negotiate for the Soulstones, I'm perfectly willing to do that.
How are we to never mind.
Yeah, and you're not speaking for my Soulstones without me present, so you can bargain all you want.
Then I suggest we find out how long this is going to take so that we can kind of make plans for things.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out how far away these towns are from Elfhelm.
Yeah, I don't know whether we're talking about the morning or days.
1 to 2 days per trip. They're in kind of a circle around the edge of the forest.
But each one may lead to more stuff, as you can see,
Right.
once they've read the contents. So we're talking 5 to 10 days. And then, if everybody asks us to do something that takes 1 day, that's, 15 days.
And, yep.
So he wants each of us to go to these locations, is what I'm hearing. So he wants us all to go to the locations. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not listen's form of a bird and fly these.
Yeah, if you guys split up, there's too much chance of an individual person being waylaid and losing the message.
Okay.
See, that was my thoughts, is I was going to start teleporting to them.
Yeah, that would have worked as well.
Yeah, fly up as high as I can see. Oh, I'll go to the top of that mountain over there, and then, oh, I see that town.
Well, how many people can you teleport at once?
You have to be able to see, and I can teleport 16 miles. And realistically, 16 miles takes up 8 points out of my 92, so I can do that 10 times. The whole party, I can do 32 miles in a day.
So we're gonna need.
What does Wilco mean?
Wilco is military for will comply.
Ah, that makes sense.
Generally, from what I understand, you only say that like over a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
No. There will be other
Actually,
times.
I've said it in person. Yeah, I'm trying to remember context.
It's when you're trying to confirm a communication versus when you're trying to communicate, when you're, it's kind of like saying 10-4. You're acknowledging that.
Which is also a radio acknowledgement.
Yeah, I was going to say it's similar. It's interchangeable with Roger as well.
Yeah. It's like you've acknowledged what they've said, and that's what you're going to do. So if an officer is giving you that, you'll say, Wilco, sir. Means, yes, I will do what you are asking.
I thought Roger was just, I heard you.
Roger is basically understood, yeah. And that one you use as a pilot, talking to air traffic control all the time. Whereas I've never used, I don't think I've used Wilco on the air as a pilot.
Yeah, my dad's.
You haven't been escorted by a military fighter jet yet.
No, thank God.
At that point, you might say Wilco.
Please don't shoot me.
Either that or you might be shouting, I have my brown pants on.
I flew into Pensacola a couple times from Dayton in, those little Piper Arrows that the Air Force Club had. And the last, half hour of that trip, you're just threading needles between military operations areas with naval, air, and Air Force Special Operations is down there. And there was a guy in a Cessna who wandered off course and ended up being had a midair with an F-16, and the F-16 was relatively fine. The guy didn't even have to eject, and the guy at the Cessna, not so much. Okay, so if I understand correctly, this needs to be us as a party trundling along, presumably on horses. Not all of these locations are on a waterway, correct?
None of them are on a major waterway.
Yeah, none of them are really on the major waterway. The elves mostly use roads to get around. They don't really go in for canals and stuff that much, except for within Elfhome, where they're mostly decorative.
Okay. Golan has a horse. Harold could have a horse. I don't need transportation. Lucia and Elendil need some form of transportation, correct?
Yes.
Elendil, I assume you're coming with, even though you're not Elfguard.
Sure. Well, I want to check and see, we need to check and see how long it's going to take to get people together for get rid of the Soulstones. And then
You haven't heard back from them yet.
I wonder what they're doing that's higher priority.
Preliminary negotiations.
Okay.
Oh, Golan, go tell your mom that if they get things set up, to scry you and let us know so we can come back. Please.
Okay, scrying only allows you to see what is around the individual.
Okay, whatever the thing is.
Numaya's Chalice. I'm not sure they can Numaya's Chalice us.
There's a spell she can do. Somebody can do to reach you.
They can do telepathy.
I love the word shortly. It's like telling your kids soon. It's completely indefinite. So Elendil and Lucia need to draw mounts at the guard stables, and then I think we can be off. What time of day is it?
It's late afternoon, almost evening.
Okay.
If we put a second person on a horse, does it slow the horse down?
Yes.
Okay. I get horses then.
I'll do my standard eagle patrol, 100 feet up. How tall are the trees in the Elfwood?
Nothing like as mega as they are in the Wormwood.
Okay.
This is mostly... Well, as a druid, you would call it old growth forest because the trees have been carefully tended to be big and, mature, but they're gardens, so it's like a park with really big trees in it more than it is a forest.
Okay.
And as you look around, you realize that it's not just like this close to the city. The whole forest is like this.
Oh, it's a manicured forest.
Yeah. It's like a huge park.
Yeah, it's like a huge park.
Is there an obvious route we should follow in a circle, I assume?
Yeah, roughly. They're mostly, the settlements are toward the edge of the forest, so you can roughly circle around to hit all of them.
Which one is nearest?
That would be Singing Falls. He pretty much gave them to you in order.
Okay. Is everyone ready to head for Singing Falls?
Sure.
Actually, shouldn't we just, if we're going to be gone for days, we should at least resolve stillness before we go.
Yeah. We shouldn't just depart while my mom is expecting us.
Right.
Your mom's expecting?
So we'll wait
not
for
anymore.
we'll wait for the teleporter guy to free up and teleport stillness and resolve that, and then we can set out for Singing Falls.
Alrighty. Denalessa can take care of that for you tonight. So after she's finished her work with the huntsman, she comes and takes care of that for you. And
I assume I'm down a bag of weed.
yep, you swap your bag of weed for a teleport spell, and the elven wizard goes to actually, hang on a second. Well, worst case scenario, she finds a wizard who can do the teleport, but they've never been to the fortress before, so you have to do this little thing where you like scry the fortress for them so that they can see the location they're going to, and then they teleport. And
Okay.
they go and fetch stillness and bring it back here for you.
Very good. Bag of spirit weed is gone. We will take stillness out to the Halfling Circus to view the damaged construct. Does he have any reaction to the construct? Like, oh, it's my brother Al? Does stillness actually have eyes that move?
Though they look like crystals that glow uniformly. They're very round, though. They're not faceted.
Well, this is about as good as we could have hoped for so far.
As long as this is not the way they have sex, I don't want to be watching that. Especially since the other one is unconscious at this point. That's creepy
We
on
might
several
get a
levels.
brand new construct this way.
Gotta have consent, man.
Well, that's kind of a spiffy Portrait. Is that stillness or the
Then it's Metal Man, not Stillness.
Metal Man? Is that a word any of us understands?
You're not entirely sure whether it's a word or a sound. It sounds fairly uh, interrogatory, I guess you'd say. It kind of like has that R2D2 whoop sort of thing to it.
In other words, he went, "What the fuck?"
Because that is pretty much what R2D2 was saying all the time.
Pretty much all the time.
That's why they had to beep him out.
I like the headcanon that he was just swearing so much during the entirety of the movies. Like, this is supposed to be PG. We can't have you cussing this much.
We're going to have to beep boop everything.
Like every other word was fuck.
Yeah, R2 was real ghetto that way. All right, let's pump him for information now.
Yeah, evidently, Dave, you've been way too long without a woman if you want to start pumping him.
I can't. He dresses that way. What can I say? It's not my fault.
I'll stand back and let Harold talk. Yeah, this is another blank jigsaw piece if he has no memory. Young woman says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope."
Briscoe.
That's a hard question, even for a non-construct.
I've ever heard of.
Whoa, which command is unauthorized?
Whatever is
The
contained within.
yeah, whatever Harold spoke was apparently a command.
Or is the translation unauthorized?
Make an int check.
Oh my lord. That was a terrible roll.
Yep.
I guess I better roll as Daz. Excuse me a minute, guys. I've got to go rescue Frisco. He is going crazy.
You might be being burgled.
Yeah, we. It's
They're
kind of
very
funny.
slow burglars then.
Yeah, you talk about being burgled, and every once in a while we have coyotes come up to our gate because we have, 3 small dogs, and then they meet the 2 big dogs, and all of a sudden they're not too interested in jumping the gate.
Frisco's usually not this noisy, but he gets antsy when we're not in the same room with him and he's watching out the windows. And at night, he can see himself in the glass and he goes nuts. Because he still believes that his reflection is the evil dog outside.
Have you stuck a full length mirror in front of him yet?
Yeah, there's a mirror in the other room, but he is absolutely sure that there's another dog out there, and he is bound and determined to chase it off.
Yeah, every once in a while we get one of our dogs that sees himself in a mirror and just totally freaks out. Because, that's an intruder into his space.
Basically, if you want a computer analogy, you have booted into the settings thing that you can do, by holding down F1 when you first boot your computer, where you can change disk allocations and stuff. But
Right.
Yeah, your BIOS.
you can't. Yeah, you're in the BIOS. You can't really access any apps because it doesn't have an OS loaded. You've bought a fresh off the shelf computer with a BIOS and no OS on it.
Sweet. Install Linux and make it worthwhile.
Well, we might be able, if Listens could transfer or copy his
You mean stillness?
stillness, yeah, then we might be able to because this thing can talk.
Make it in check.
$14.
We're rolling an int check for what?
not sure.
Jesus.
You realize in thinking that stillness could put their memory into this thing that whatever is preventing stillness from communicating is probably in its memory or command module and would just transfer over.
Uh,
I'll be right back.
Not even smelly underwear does it for you, huh, Chris Scott? Come on. Here we go. That you just saw the
I can see that.
hologram of the memory module.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm back.
Well, now, Stillness was able to plug in.
yeah, we left that unresolved. Is Stillness able to show us what his memory module looks like? So at least we know what we're looking for.
You know what? It created a picture for you. You saw the hologram. You know what it looks like.
No,
Oh, that crystal. Okay.
I'm saying since Stillness can plug into this guy, can he kind of talk through him?
How big was that crystal?
Roughly the size of a brain.
Okay. So can we correctly infer that Stillness has one of those crystals already inside him?
Sorry, what did you say?
So, is it a correct assumption that Stillness has one of those crystals inside him?
Yes.
Okay.
Although you're getting the impression that he's now rather reluctant to let you have a look at it in case you try to do something.
Right.
$30 for me.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get to where, if those are years, he's a couple thousand years old. I'm hoping to get to where we're all ready to trundle off to, still
Yeah,
waters.
I'd like to kind of do some action stuff next session. I mean, I'm loving this, trying to figure out stillness and everything. But
Singing Falls. I think we just got a quest. I'm not sure the timing of it. It looks like we've just gotten a quest to go to where this thing was found and look for the crystal, the memory module.
It's an earned run average.
The year here is 360 days exactly.
No, it's 365.
I got a private chat from Stillness saying the year here is 360 days exactly, by the way. Which puzzles me since he should have held up like 3, 6, and 0 instead of 3, 6, and 5.
That was me.
Oh, okay. So he actually held up 3, 6, and then 0. So we're looking for a 2,000-year-old crystal.
Yep. Which, keep in mind,
Oh, here's a bit of trivia for the group. The elves created the calendar, and they consider 360 to be the perfect number because it's the degrees in a circle.
It's kind of like if you actually do the moon cycles. There's 13 months, not 12. But because 13 is considered a bad number, I believe it was the Catholics who changed the calendar to only be 12 months.
No, the Romans had a 12-month calendar because
The Bowmans, okay.
well, they had it originally a 10-month calendar, which is why it goes up to December, which would be the 10th month. Deca being 10. But Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar inserted the months of June and August,
July and August.
creating 12 months.
Yeah.
But the Romans had a 360-day calendar also, and they had a Saturnalia, which was like 5 or 6 days that was non-calendar time at the end of the year, so that the seasons lined up. I believe the idea that the circle contains 360 degrees came from the Babylonians because they considered 60 to be like an ideal number.
Okay, so we've got packages to deliver. First one to Singing Falls. We've got a memory crystal to go find, a 2,000-year-old memory crystal. And we've got some matter of days, we think, before the factions gather to discuss and dispose of our soulstones and give us massive amounts of cash in return, we hope. Is that a good place to end?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, I don't have any more questions for the robot.
Can anybody?
Don't
I
forget,
think.
finding the witch so that you can get the halflings restored.
Oh, right, finding the witch. It looks like, so those 4 things, it looks like everything is going to be met with insert memory or command module. Okay, so last thing, I'm not going to type this. The same guy who ported him here, I'll prevail on him to teleport Stillness back to the garrison, and then scry Thumb to make sure he got back safely.
Yeah, that was pretty much included in the deal. Because Daedalus is
Okay.
not a moron. So, yeah, there's no problems with that.
Okay, so we are ready to. I think our next step is to trundle off to Singing Falls next time. Mount up and do our courier errand. Agreed?
Yep.
Also, note
Yes.
that since you now know what it looks like, you could locate the memory module using magic.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we didn't even know that there was such a thing before, but now we could locate it. Okay, and when is the Great Hunt supposed to begin?
3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, so after everything else, presumably. Okay,
What
well,
else
I'm
is
ready
there?
to sign off for now.
So, sorry, I had to really quickly run off to the bathroom and deal with some dogs. Could somebody kind of write up a synopsis in the next day or two, and we can discuss, I guess, through the message board, just so we can actually, I don't know, get started doing something when we start next Thursday.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll do it right now.
Okay. And as far as locating, I do have that memorized. So if I know what it looks like, can I determine how far away and where it is?
You can determine the direction straight to it. You can't figure out how far away it is. You'd have to triangulate to do that.
Okay. Okay. So that's the first thing I do is determine the direction. And is it along the lines of anywhere that we are planning on going?
Alright, you cast Locate to view the direction, and you get basically an arrow going like that.
So towards the Great Ice. Okay.
I should just note that, remember, it locates the nearest one, not necessarily his original one, assuming there's other copies around here.
Right.
Yeah, so keep that spell memorized, and when we get to the first drop-off point, we can cast it again and start setting up triangulation points.
That's exactly what I was looking at doing. Jenny, the one thing that I'd request for next week, just so we kind of have an idea, on the map, can you put where these 5 different locations that we have to...
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. It's just going to help me for triangulation.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a
Okay,
good night,
good night, guys.
Alright.
I hope it was interesting and there was no fighting.
It
you know
was
what?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been twice in a row where it's actually got my mind thinking about it, which I'd prefer that over, constant hack and slash. But on the same hand, I still want to do some hack and slash.
You need a little bit of hack and slash.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys just got to a major city. There's gonna be some talky bits.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. I understand. I'm not complaining at all. I'm really, really enjoying this because
Yeah, me too.
it is actually activating the mind more so than, just, there's an orc, kill it. There's an orc, kill it. There's an orc, kill it.
What are we calling this new just the new construct?
His name is Bobby.
Okay, Bobby.
Because we don't know whether Bobby is a boy or a girl. So it's Bobby.
Wasn't it Volnin?
Oh, that's right. He did
he
say
does
his
have a
name
name.
was Vol'jin. Vol'jin. Voljin.
Voljin.
Yeah.
Dark Spear never die.
Alright, well, see you guys next week.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Good night.